We are doing Monday Night Live, and I've got the quality bang on this time. Hopefully anyway. But I just need to find myself. Here we go, on here so I can see your questions. We are doing Monday Night Live. Yeah, there we go. So, feel free to join, guys. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask. Monday Night Live, I just like to just talk about whatever, really. Just see what comes up. See what people want to talk about. See who's been cycling. So, yeah, feel free to jump in at any time, guys, and ask any questions that you would like to ask. Normally I do these at 8 o'clock, but today it is 7. So, while I'm waiting, let's start writing some blog posts in the meantime. So if you don't go on my website, I try, alongside the videos, I try and actually do a daily kind of blog as well, just talking. So typically I'll talk about a lot what's going on in the videos and write it out as well as doing a video as well, which is yeah, it's all right. Takes up a lot of time, but I kind of treat my website as like a diary, which is fun. So who's coming in, guys? Talk to me, drop me comments. I can see. But yes, I hope you guys are all well. So yes, I'm just going to write up. I didn't save last Monday night's live. I know, I deleted it by mistake. So I will save this one on the channel. But yeah, Monday is always Monday Night Live. So say hello in the chat. And hello from Western Canada. I really want to go to Canada. Please tell me it's as good as it sounds. Please tell me that Canada is excellent. Because everyone tells, I have some friends from Canada, and they rave about the place, and they always say to me, you know, you have to come here and you just have to experience it. But I hear like 80% of Canada, maybe even more, is just wilderness, which I think is incredible. Especially like, I guess it's not the most amazing fact if you lived in the States or like a really big country, but when you live in the UK, thinking that 80% of somewhere is like wilderness is crazy, because the UK is just so crammed, you know what I mean? But it's hilly. so yeah. So you know, wherever you are in the UK, you're literally never really in the UK. Let's say England, you're never really like more than 5 miles as the crow flies, I think they call it, away from a town or something like that. When is the wedding day? It is the 9th of July, so it's just around the corner. And yeah, we're really excited. Bryony just got back from her hen today, so she's been away for a few days, and yeah, she just got back, bless her. A little bit hungover. I think she might be able to hear me, but yeah, she just got back. So yeah, we're really excited. I am like, I'm nervous because, you know, it's just going to be such a big day, and it's one of these things that, you know, you only do once. And yeah, me and Bryony are really excited, but it's a lot to take in. You just want everyone to have a good time. So yeah, you're by the Rocky Mountains. Tell me about them. Are these, I've heard of the Rocky Mountains, but let me Google this. I've got my laptop here. Rocky Mountains. I bet, you know, like the UK, we're so sheltered here. Like, yes, we have hilly places, and yes, we've, you know, got a lot of roads, but compared to like the States and Canada, where you can be miles and miles away from anything, yeah, it's just crazy. The Rocky Mountains. Doesn't that look amazing? So who else in the chat, guys? So, you know, drop me messages, say hello, ask me questions. And I'm sure I can have some big open skies. Yeah, yeah, I wish I could say the same for the UK. If the skies are open, it's normally because it's raining in the UK. But I say that, it's been sunny for the past few days. We even had 30 degrees the other day. So yeah, that is it. If you're wondering what I'm holding, it's a knot. My dad used to be really into, well, he still is actually, really into sailing. So I learned how to make knots when I was younger. Not that I'm very good at them, but I did learn how to make them when I was younger. So yeah, so it's been, yeah, last week was a bit weird. I think I told you, if you watched last week's live, I was saying work was a little bit all over the place. And yeah, it was actually. Work was really weird last week. It just wasn't that busy. And being a writer is great, you know, but it's not like I'm writing my own book or anything like that. That's something I've always wanted to do. And I think I've got some cool stories that I could, you know, put into a book about, you know, my history with the records and all the adventures I went on and stuff like that. And I'd love to write my own book, but, you know, like, realistically, I thought, you know, for a book, you're really needing a minimum of like 50,000 words, really. So I'm thinking, do you know what, realistically, I could write a book in a month and a half, but it would mean I'd be letting loads of clients down, and on top of that, it would lose me a lot of money. So as much as I'd love to write a book about my cycling, how I started, like going to Paris, and then all the crazy stuff after that, I think it would just be so difficult, you know, that kind of thing. Bikepacking adventures. But yeah, so it's been, yeah, I'd love to write a book, but it's just finding time and energy. You know, if I'm spending a lot of time writing, it does make it difficult to have the energy to write stuff for myself. It's true, and it's difficult. It's the same with the blog that I'm writing at the minute on my own website. You know, it's some days I'm just like, oh, I can't be asked to write anymore today. You know, and then I end up just, you know, making a YouTube video instead. But my career as a cyclist, so I'm literally, I wouldn't really call myself a writer too much anymore, more of a content creator. So things have changed. So instead of writing a lot at the minute about cycling stuff, I actually have been making videos and taking pictures as well as doing articles. But that's the way, you know, mark my words here, give it 5 years. 5 years. And every time you look for a review of something, it'll have pictures and video, you know, and a written article in the future, because that's what Google wants to see, and Google gets what Google wants, as weird as that sounds. They do. Richard, bikepacking adventures, throwing a pizza in the oven. Love it, mate. What's on the pizza? And I know everyone has this debate, should you have pineapple on a pizza? Yeah, totally. I love pineapple on a pizza. Like, typically, like, Hawaiian is the way to go. In my opinion, definitely the way to go. I've just right. Oh god, work stuff. I work with a lot of people in the States, so this is kind of their 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. Is it? Maybe 12. Yeah, it's around that time. Michael. Hello, Robbie. I'm working back in Peterborough this week and next, possibly in Nottingham after that. Epic. Mate, if you're ever about, fancy a spin, let me know. I'm always about. I'm writing a little bit more at the minute. Though, saying that, if you guys watched the video or read the blog, there, I have to say, I had a call from the orthopaedic people today, and I've got a meeting tomorrow on the phone. So they're going to be calling me tomorrow, which I am, I guess I'm excited about. I can find out if what I should be doing and what I shouldn't be doing, and how they want to proceed forward. Do you have an opinion on oval chain rings? Fitted one to my 1x gravel bike, and I find it a great help. Actually, Michael, I've got a big opinion on oval chain rings. So everyone used to have this excuse of, oh, oval chain rings. Oh, well, why aren't the bigger companies doing them if they're so good? So I decided, the curiosity got the better of me, Michael, and I bought an oval chain ring. This is literally a month ago, my first oval chain ring, because obviously I spent years being sponsored by Shimano, so I couldn't use anything like that. But I'm not doing really anything with them at the minute, so, you know, I can kind of use what I want at the minute, and I think that's probably the way it'll stay now. But anyway, I tried one, and I put it on wrong. I'll be honest there. So, you know, let's say pedal facing forward, the widest point should be like up and down, I think, or in that similar place. I did it back and forth, and it felt like it was not slipping, but like I was losing power. So I thought, oh, okay. So I looked at some YouTube videos, because like, God, this feels weird. Looked at some YouTube videos and realised I had it set up wrong. And when I set it up right, I thought, if it makes that much difference in a negative, it must be having a very positive effect. So I've been trying an oval chain ring on my MTB for the past 2 weeks, and I love it. I genuinely think it does make a big difference. You know, for me, it just feels like I pedal smoother. So in my opinion, although a lot of people won't agree, I'm sure, but I think, yeah, I'm a fan of an oval chain ring. And next time I do a big ride or a race, I would like it to be on oval chainrings. I would. I'm really taken by them as well. Yeah. So Michael, actually, my first bike when I did London to Paris, my first bike, let's say as an adult, had a BioPace, and it was mega. Yeah, it was mega. Like that was. Do you know what? If you guys kind of don't know where I started, for my sister's wedding, so her and my brother-in-law were getting married. I couldn't really afford a decent present, so I bought a £20 bike and rode a padlock all the way from London to Paris in like 23 hours, and popped it onto the Pont d'Arts bridge, the Lovelock Bridge. Made a video and sent it to her, and just to say congratulations and stuff like that. So yeah, and that was BioPace. Did that all on a BioPace. That was an awesome bike. That little thing. Like I remember setting up ready to go, putting like like slick tires on it, and yeah, actually I had to change the bottom bracket, and this is really funny because I literally just thought, oh, I'm going to do this, and all I did was take out the old bearings and they just fell everywhere, so I tried putting a sealed unit in, and I swear I've still got the bike here with this bodged sealed bottom bracket in. And yeah, you know, Sam, who's in this chat now, you know this stuff. You know the bike that I've ridden before. So yeah, so it's funny because that thing was ready to fall apart. That was. Richard, spicy salami, no pineapple. Don't mind where pineapple goes. In my mouth. Great question. I'm thinking about absolute chainrings. Yeah, honestly, I rate oval chainrings. And Neil Copeland, he's amazing. Like very logical. He's the guy I race with sometimes. A very logical guy, and if he rates them, to me, he does a lot of research into stuff like this, and he seems to think they're excellent. So for me, that goes a really long way. But the BioPace was terrible. Do I have a 56 alley frame carbon fork 105 rim breaker quick bike that's hopeful about it? I have something you might be very interested in. Sam. Can you drop me a message later? Because I do have a bike that I am going to be that I will be selling soon, that you might be really interested in, which ticks all of those boxes, but it's got something better than 105 on it. So anyway, yeah, drop me a message, mate, and we'll catch up about that. So yeah, what else, guys? Talk to me. What's everyone up to? Happy Monday. I'm hoping my phone doesn't die, because I know it's low on battery. I'm not sure if I'm still live. Sorry, low battery. So anyway, guys, am I back? Oh, I think I've lost you guys. Hold there. Wait, come on, help me out here. Yeah, we're back. Sorry, I've got you on one of my screens. I've got myself on one screen. Yeah, we're back. Yeah, sorry. My phone's a little bit low on battery, so I do have it charging, but I don't think it's charging quick enough. So yeah, editing soon. What are you editing, Richard? What's the latest adventure, mate? I need to have a check of your channel. Yeah, Sam, definitely. Marmot route coming up in July. I remember route guessing for you over the phone. Oh, mate, yes, yeah, I know the one. Yeah, we must catch up. And we had an idea ages ago, Sam. So Sam taught me how to ride a bike. I know that's a weird thing to say, but he did. When I first started getting into cycling, when I was 25, 26, I met Sam at a place he worked, and we ended up chatting, and he was like, yeah, let's go out for a ride. And it was the first time I actually rode with like a proper cyclist. And yeah, my legs were destroyed. He was just like, and I remember him saying like, you need to put your saddle up a bit, mate. And I'm like, no, I don't. Now I look back, I was just like looking back at old pictures of me riding the first bike, and I was like, wow, my saddle was so low. Like, but he's like, gave you lots of questionable advice, and mate, it was good advice. It soon worked out. So yeah, that was funny, and I'll never forget. We're out riding in South Downs. I think it was South Downs, and he's like, Rob, and I'd got this road bike at this point, this old Claude Butler thing, and he was like, mate, be careful of this next corner, because you come down this descent, he goes a really sharp left, and I'm like, yeah. So we go up this hill, go over the thing, and within like 4 seconds I'd forgotten this advice he'd said, and I just remember coming up to this corner and, you know, the back wheel slipping, sliding everywhere, and came around the corner and he was like, yeah, do you know what I mean? That's right, really dodgy corner, isn't it? And I'd nearly fallen off and I was like, yeah, thanks for warning me. And I'm just like, geez, I'm so close to stacking it. It was unbelievable. It was hilarious, to be fair. But so anyways, work's busier this week. I'm excited about it. I've got some really cool articles to do and some good reviews to do of something. It's in here. Not allowed to talk about it though. Obviously, like a lot of these things, like companies will send me stuff and I will review it, make a video, write articles on them, and then send them back. And that's kind of the thing. So there's something in there which I need to review, but I'd love to tell you what it is, but it's not my content or not my product to talk about on my channel. You know what I mean? Yes, Balcombe. It was near Balcombe. So I get sent a few bits and bobs, but yeah, this week is a good week. But yeah, like Google make my life a bit difficult because they constantly change. Well, they don't constantly change. You have to give a really decent, high standard of content now to make a website work. You know that, and I say that weirdly, but it's true. So like, I write for people, and I'll write articles for people and all these things, but they have to be good. You know, like to a point of where Google want, you know, unique content in pictures. They want, you know, videos with things now. So, you know, people can ask me to write things and I can write, you know, an awesome article, but sometimes you just need more for if you want it to rank highly. Like if you look at the stuff on my own website at the minute, it's not as well SEO'd as it could be because it's my own stuff. You know, for clients, I spend, you know, an hour plus SEOing articles sometimes. You know, and these are short articles with clients and that, but you can see how there's videos, pictures, and it's just good, decent content, really. And just the way it has to be written. You know, I got told if you want to rank well, and I've read a lot about this, you have to talk about things or write about things like you're talking about things, and that can be quite challenging at times, like as a job. Like, and sometimes I end up just sitting here talking to myself going, right, okay, I need to talk about this, need to say this. And yeah, it does make it difficult. It does make it difficult. Who's in the chat, guys? Say hello. Don't be shy. Ask me questions. That's what I'm here for. It's Monday Night Lives. So I just sit here and I see what questions come up and I answer them. So anything bikepacking or even non-bikepacking related. We can talk about my upcoming wedding if you'd like. I don't mind. Your latest blog, you didn't load. Images didn't load. Oh. Metal v plastic bikes. Plastic carbon bikes. Sorry, Richard. I don't know why, mate. Mine loaded okay. I tried it on a few devices after. Maybe it's those dodgy Amazon links I give you guys. No, I'm kidding. Metal v plastic. I've ridden titanium. I've ridden steel. I've ridden aluminium bikes. I've ridden all of them. Not every bike, but you know, all metals. Carbon. Do you know what? If you'd asked me 2 months ago, do I rate carbon? I wouldn't. Yeah, it's all right. It's harsh though. It's a harsh ride. But after spending a bit of time on that Yolio, which I've been using recently, you know, while I do a lot of my riding, I honestly have to say I'm getting converted. And what worries me is Yolio are sending me this gravel bike soon for me to use, and their road bike is incredible. And what worries me is I'm going to get on this carbon gravel bike and I'm going to struggle to go back to like alloy, because I just think if it's anything like their road bike, if it's anything like their road bike, the gravel bike's just going to be ridiculously good. And I'm really excited because the geometry it's exactly what I would want in a gravel bike. So that turns up literally in 2 or 3 weeks. But I do think it's going to make a lot of my heavier bikes a bit more obsolete, which worries me, because I adore my bikes. I adore all of them. I think they're awesome. But this Yolio just ticks a lot of boxes, you know, like it's beautiful frame. You must take a look at their website. But it's got a beautiful gravel bike. Geometry is just perfect. Like, it's not too aggressive. It looks amazing. Tire clearance is good, and it's got a drop chainstay on it. So like the rear where you got the chainstay, so where the tire sits in between, you've got the two bits at the bottom that go at the bottom of the A triangle kind of thing. And one side is dropped for better control. It's sickeningly cool, and it's just gonna be really quick. I'm really I'm really excited about it. I didn't realise real plastic, not carbon. I didn't realise. I've never really seen too many plastic bikes. Someone has to send me a link for these plastic bikes. I didn't know this was a thing. The plastic bike's a thing. All I'm seeing is like, I don't know, plumber's tubing. Like what's under my sink is a bike. Do you know what question I get asked a lot actually? Would I consider making my own bike? No. No, I'll tell you actually, it's a sad story. I used to be quite close to Linsky, hence you can see I've ridden their bikes for years and still ride my Linsky now. And anyway, I gave them some modification to a bike they were going to give me, and they built me this custom bike. It was incredible. And then they implemented the changes later into a newer model they made. And then anyway, a couple of years down the line, that we got talking, and they go, what would you recommend changing about our bikes? And I said, I had this idea for something really cool. I'm not going to say it on here because someone's going to take the idea, even though it's been done, which is unfortunate. And I said, I'll say it. I'll say it, but without saying too much. I said, you need to do this to this part of the bike and make it adjustable. And I said this, like, you need to adjust this part of the bike so you can swap this out mid-ride, or depending on if you're doing road or gravel or off-road, you need to adapt this. You can try and guess what part of the bike this is, but if you swap this thing out, you can change the way it shapes you on the bike. And anyway, it just never went any further, which was a shame. And 2 years down the line after that, another company literally did the idea that I thought. And I sat there thinking, they missed a trick there, because this company's done really well with it. And it was an idea I had 2 years ago. But obviously this other company were probably, designing it at the time. But yeah, it was an idea that I just go, why hasn't anyone done this? And yeah, they didn't pick up on it, and someone else caught it out. I bought that Yoshi waterproof case recommended Jeff yesterday. Yeah, honestly, thank you, Richard, mate. It's awesome. Like, why people don't take these like waterproof cases is beyond me. Like, I've taken one to on nearly all my trips. So it's handy. Like, the amount of money I've lost out in torrential rain and losing losing cash left, right and centre. No word of a lie. Like, because notes have got wet and just ripped. Yeah, honestly, like the amount of money I've lost through that. I should have had a case ages ago. And now, although phones are pretty much waterproof now, not all of them are. Like my iPhone, it is waterproof, but it's not something you're not going to want to hold underwater for a long time. Plastic bikes, guarantee you someone has made a drain pipe bike. Yeah, money on it. Who? This could be a great idea. This could be the future. Guys, let's get together and make a drain pipe bike. It was an 80s thing, not very good. Plastic went brittle after a few. Yeah, actually, talking of that, I always get asked the question about carbon bikes and the shelf life of a carbon bike. And years ago, like let's say when carbon was new, 1980s, when carbon started to come out, I think it was about 1980. The resins they used, you couldn't leave in sunlight for years and years and years, and it would break down, and then things would start to break. And I remember a guy came into a shop I used to work at, and he's like, I want to sell a load of gear and I want to do it to your shop. And he brought these like 1980s carbon wheels. Like these are one of the first sets of carbon wheels I'd ever seen, and are like of that era. And they were like a brown carbon. And I was just like, someone goes, oh, do you think that'll be good to ride? And I was like, I think they're probably really brittle now. They're like 20 years old, 25 years old, and the rest. And I was sitting there thinking I probably wouldn't ride them. But modern carbon, how long does it last for? For good now. Like, providing it's properly painted and protected and lacquered, carbon lasts pretty much good now. Because, you know, it's so defined now. It's much stronger than it used to be. It's much better. You know, it is the future. Like, I hate to say it is the future. It has come a long way. Carbon, you know, yes, it is weak in some places and strong in others, but typically overall, you know, I think everything's going to eventually go carbon. Like, I think 80% of the bike market will be carbon in 10 years. And there'll be this, you know, 20% of steel and, you know, very budgety bikes. I just think, and I know that's a weird thing to say, but I do think the processes will get better, carbon will become cheaper, you know, molds will get passed down, and yeah, and like eventually carbon will be really cheap. I think anyway, that's what I think. We'll see. Spinaches, yes, I remember spinaches. I always wanted to say spinaches. I don't even know why. It's just because I kept seeing pros use them, and I was like, oh, Lance Armstrong had some of them once. Do you remember the plastic BMX wheels? No. So Sam's put here, the plastic BMX was, I heard that when they buckled, all you had to do was stick them in the freezer and they'd go true again. I hope that's true. That would make me so happy if it was. That would. Yeah, honestly, I think everything in the future, and actually, Sam, you're someone to talk to about this, because you're in that kind of, you'd know better than me, but, like, because of your, you know, your job. But I think, yeah, everything will be carbon, like majority, like 80% majority carbon soon. Give it, you know, 10, 20 years. Aluminium, I don't think will be as easy to manufacture. I think it'll still be cheap and do it, but I just think carbon will just get so much cheaper and easier to do. And, you know, even now we're seeing, look at companies like Planet X and Rivel. Yes, it's an open mold. Typically they use open molds and stuff like that, but, you know, that's low level carbon and that's not bad carbon. And then you get companies like, you know, doing really special stuff, Yolio, you know, Specialized, people like that, and you just sit there thinking, God, this is all gonna slowly pass down to, you know, eventually the other stuff. So yeah, so I think it's gonna be, the market will be predominantly carbon soon. And I think that's the way a lot of people go. I think titanium will still have a place, but I think it'll always be an ultra cycling thing, or long distance, or not a novelty, but, you know, a specialist thing. It'll become more specialist. And aluminium, I think, will slowly, I think steel will always be there because people want steel bikes because they're classics, but aluminium, I think, the amount of aluminium bikes in the market will drop heavily in the years. I really do. Shouldn't say that. Yeah, tiny shall be there forever, because titanium's just, if you haven't ridden a titanium bike, you must, you know, like, and I didn't really realise how cool they would be. Like, I've ridden titanium for so long, I'm so used to it now, but I remember I worked at a shop up in, you know, on the Norfolk coast called Fatbirds, and it was a bike shop, and that was a titanium specialist shop, and the owner said to me, he was like, oh, you haven't ever ridden titanium before? I was like, no. He goes, oh, try one. And I'm like, it's a £4,000 bike. Bear in mind, I'd not ridden anything over about £400-500 at this point. I was like, oh, okay, I'll try it. And I tried it. And I was like, God, it just glides. It's really odd feeling. And I was like, yeah, I really like this. And then, before I know it, I ended up with one. And then I ended up with another one and another. And now I'm just kind of used to it. And then the next biggest change I noticed when I started riding was, I'd ridden a steel bike before, a Specialized AWOL. That was good. That was really cool geometry, excellent bike. And I ended up getting the Ritchie, which is like, there's steel in this Ritchie steel. Ritchie steel's just incredible. And I remember riding the Ritchie for the first time, and I was like, yeah, it's a bit heavier, but my God, just, again, super smooth, silky smooth, silky smooth. You know, not the lightest of frames, but silky smooth to ride. And then, yeah, now I'm riding carbon, and it's just quick. It's really quick, really quick. And I quite like the noise of riding a carbon bike. Carbon wheels, woo, 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 these whirring wheels, and the frame just, it kind of hums. It's awesome. I love it, love it. And that's one thing I noticed, and that's something about the Yoli I really like. Like, I've ridden some really cool, you know, high-end carbon bikes, and it's the sound they make. Good carbon, I think, just makes a different sound compared to cheap carbon, like. And the sound of this Specialized, which was actually made for Peter Sagan and used by him, I remember riding it and just thinking, God, it just sounds incredible. It just, there's something about the sound of this on these roads. And I was in Spain at the time. And yeah, anyway, the sound, and I got on the Yolio and it was the same sound. And I was like, this is cool. This is a good bike. As soon as it was the first 20 metres now, I started to put the pressure down to woo, 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 and I was like, yeah, this is really cool. I remember Fat Birds Don't Fly, still got on their jerseys type thing. Now, Michael, I've lost my jersey. I had one of the really old school ones, and it was very tight, to be fair. Even on me, this one, like, it was tight jersey. Yeah, Fat Birds Don't Fly. Do you know what? That was a legendary shop. Like, even to this day, I talk about it on my lives and talk about it in general. And people go, I remember Fat Birds. People used to come from London, you know, in the middle of nowhere. People used to, no word of a lie, like drive 4 or 5 hours to come to the shop to pick up bikes or to test ride bikes. And this was like a titanium specialist shop. There wasn't a chain. There was just one. It's gone now. Disappeared. Completely gone. So it got bought out by a company called Pedal Revolution while I was working there. And you might have heard of Pedal Revolution. They're in like Norwich, Galston. I think they've got one in Yarmouth. There's a few shops. And I think, yeah, he bought it out. And I remember having the conversation with him. And I was struggling with Fat Birds. I loved the people there. And I did enjoy the job. But I had this issue with that I wanted more time off to go adventuring, and I'd just been got in contact with Shimano, and they were offering me to come away a bit more, and I kind of decided that, you know, this, unless they could give me more time off, then this was going to be a very difficult job to keep. And then, yeah, long story cut short, it got taken over by Pedal Revolution. They bought it out, and they turned around to me, and I remember talking to the manager. He's like, would you like to come across to Pedal Rev? And I was like, can you give me more time off? No, it's got to be the same for everyone. And I was just like, I'll be leaving. And that was it. So I left. I left. And yeah, it was all right. I'm glad I left. It opened up so many doors to be, you know, doing some stuff with Shimano, and then luckily enough at the time, I was really lucky with Heroes Gym. So you might have seen in the vlog, sometimes I do a bit of filming in the gym. But yeah, I was really lucky because the gym were like, oh, do you want some hours? Do you want to do this? So I ended up starting at the gym. Then although I was qualified as a gym instructor, they put me through my personal training, and then became personal trainer. Did that for a few years and then left. I still train there, but yeah. So I was quite... Yeah, everything happens for a reason, and that was the reason that happened. And anyway, yeah, Pedal Rev moved it all to Kings Lynn. They kept it a Fat Birds brand, and then I think they just binned it off. But smartly enough, they didn't have any competition in the area after that, so it kind of worked out for them, I guess, in a weird way of saying that. So yeah, but yeah, I still think they have. It's a thing in their shop that they call Fat Birds, and it's the titanium thing, but. Originally, it was Fat Birds. I think was started by a guy called Richard Bird, but I know very little about this. I know very little, but everyone says to me, "Oh, you remember Richard? He was he's still around to these days, supposedly." And everyone was saying to me like, "Oh, he's the legend. You know, you're lucky that you got to work under him." And I was like, "I never did, because someone had bought it off him, and I was working under this other guy, you know." And then it got bought out, and I left. So it was good. Good. Anyway, guys, I've got 5 more minutes before I'm going to head off. So if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask. You know, I always say to like Bryony, I'll be 20 minutes on this live. It always turns out like 40 minutes to an hour. But I'm going to save this one on my channel because I lost the last one. I genuinely lost it. So yeah, so 5 more minutes, guys. Let me know. Got any questions? Please ask. Please ask. You know, before I babble on about anything. Oh, actually, interesting thing. Bought a headset the other day. The wrong headset. Took the bearings out of it to make it work in something else. And it was 2 hours of my life I'll never get back again. It didn't work. And it's to an extent it still doesn't. And it's soul destroying, the process I'm going through. Yeah. Like I'll say this now. Sam, you can Sam, please level with me here if you agree. I think bearings and headsets, especially older ones where you could actually get to the bearings, why do they need so many pieces? Like, what? Who designed this? Like, as someone that knows so little about engineering, how, why does these old headsets, like in my old MTB, why do you need like 5 bits at the top, 5 singular bits, and then 2 or 3 at the bottom? Like, how has that got so difficult? Why couldn't you just, inside the actual head tube, can't you just have a smooth surface for some bearings to go in with some grease, smooth surface on the other side, some gaskets, then the fork going through? Why is this so hard? Like, genuinely, like, I'm pretty good with headsets, modern headsets, classic ones. This one, I was just like, why is there so many pieces? Like, what is this? And I hadn't really taken them out in the right... I didn't remember the order when I took them out. It's my own fault. But it was just so many pieces. I was like, why does such a simple motion need so much engineering behind it? Just 2 sets of bearings, 2 washers, somehow make it work. And now they're sealed units. It's easy. Like modern headsets, easy. But classic ones... Who thought, do you know what? If we put 5 things at the top, 3 or 4 at the bottom, yeah, this will confuse them, they'll be alright. Yeah, what a nightmare. What an absolute nightmare. You know what I mean? It's just painful. Headsets are just nightmarish. But I don't even think mine's in the right way at the minute. It's loose and it steers, but I still genuinely, and I just couldn't find the correct diagram for my original headset. It was just a joke. Like, I was just so... It took 2 hours of my time to fit a bloody headset that if it was on a modern bike, 2 minutes max. But no, it's terrible. Like, I'm not an expert on bearings. Hambini is your man. Bearings are properly complicated to get them when you got to press fit on bikes. Yeah, like, I know, they're a nightmare. Like, all these tiny little just, like, do you know what? Keep bearings sealed. It's just simple. Like, I think I get headsets and I understand modern headsets, but classic ones with all these tiny little bearings and just different gaskets and grubs, I thought that would be the headset I needed, but it wasn't. Completely wrong one. And because I mangled this one up so much, I couldn't even return it, which was annoying. You know what I mean? Scandium has never been desirable. What is Scandium? Let's just have a look at this. Is this an idea which could make us millions? I hope so. Let's have a look. Sam. Oh. Silvery white, moderately metal, soft metal. Let's do it. Let's make a bike. Let's make a bike. See, I do like old bearings. To an extent, I like old wheel bearings, yes, like cup and cone bearings. Like the wheels I use, the Shimano 38mm, 40mm deep wheels, awesome. Like, they've been really good and they're not too bad to service. They're quick, but cup and cone is pretty easy to do. But honestly, in my study on their Rodney, we're going to be rich. Yeah, in my opinion, like, I prefer sealed bearings. And even though I use cup and cone bearings in my wheels, when I was talking to Yolio and they're like, oh yeah, you can use a set of our wheels, and yeah, like, see what you think and all this kind of thing. Because obviously, like, we're working together. I was like, yeah, and I was like, are they cup and cone or are they sealed? And they were like, they're sealed. I was like, yes. Because cup and cone, like, even when you've serviced them, you need to make sure they're tight and all this. It can be a bit of a faff, unless you know what you're doing. But yeah, but they are good. The cup and cones, I think, is superior, providing you know how to service them properly and you do a good job of it. If you don't, sealed bearings the whole way. Sealed bearings the whole way. Right, guys, I'm going to hit the road. My phone battery, I'm sure, is about to die. I can't see it because it's the other way around. And I will put a video up tomorrow. I want to talk about a new client that I've got who's there as a company. Their project is just insane. And I'm going to drop them a message tonight and see if they're happy for me to do a video about it. But it's something that I'm just really impressed with. So I want to tell everyone about it tomorrow. So yeah, Sam, drop me a message. We must talk. We must talk. Right, guys, I will say bye now. I am melting here. It's really warm in the house. And we will catch up. Yeah, I'll do some vlogging and stuff tomorrow. Thanks for joining me on the live, guys. If I don't see you in the week, see you on Monday. Stay cool, guys. See you later. Let's do this. Right. But